Oh! Be on the street. Be the street. Be street. Streetwise. No compromise. Ha! Who are you? Be on the street. Be street. Streetwise. No compromise. Who are you, girlfriend? What's big and red and eats rocks?
A big red rock eater.
Ooh, lucky. What is yellow, has 4 legs, and weighs 800 pounds?
2 400-pound canaries.
You're a Sibyl, a priestess, a prophetess of Apollo. Aren't you the Sibyl of Cumae, a.k.a. Demo, the seer in Virgil's epic, the Aeneid? Aren't you the Theban Sphinx, who asked in the myth of Oedipus Rex what walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening? Didn't Apollo bless you with long life, then refuse to add youth to the bargain when you refused his intimate advances? Didn't you throw yourself off a cliff when Oedipus guessed the answer to your riddle? Didn't you die at the age of 1,000 years after having shriveled up to the size of a praying mantis? Didn't you eat everyone who answered your riddle incorrectly on the road to Thebes? Didn't Michelangelo paint you on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the act of writing a poem at the end of your life that began with the lines, "I long for a fast train to hell"? Oh, no. It went like this. I long to take the slow journey to Avernus. I long to go blind, deaf, mute, to die, to forget. Prophecies lodged in the marrows of my mind decay, rot. I can't find my own path. The trail Aeneas took is lost. Its map locked tight inside my mantic heart. But my soul revived in Hades, and I'm enjoying a healthy afterlife. Still, Apollo is a pretty harsh dude, especially to you and some of your sister Sibyls, like Cassandra, whom I seek.
Too bad you don't have some complicated map that should guide me to
Are you for or against the Danaids?
You're working for Melpomene. I'm not at liberty to discuss the case. I bid you farewell.
Oh, but wait! I'm late for a very important date. So, hello, I must be going. Dude!
At the last instant, I, Cassandra, paused. To look the archer god in the face is to step off the precipice of the reasoning mind. But to couple him, to bind my root to the Lord of Light, to put on his knowledge with his power, confused my conscience. Would I serve as his lover, a far-sighted mouthpiece, one of his personal romantic tools? Choice bred cynicism, dread, a profound fear of snakes and sterile vanity. Black flowers choked my breath, filled my mouth with the word Apollo never wanted to hear. No.
Did you know that she, Cassandra, is considered loopy?
His brilliance blinded me, scorched the light inside my sight. Out from spheres of atomic time, flat dimensions unlocked, exploded deep into the sublime. Formations of Greek soldiers marched left across plateaus, paraded like words in straight lines from books of war I read, with unblinkered eyes. From the four corners of my prophetic mind, syllables pronounced by my lips spelled Holocaust. But Phoebus reversed his gift with a curse that mirrored my dis-ease, my denial, my disbelief in his will to power, absolute prescience inside my brain, absolute fact stumbled off my swollen tongue and produced absolute incredulity in those wretched, savage men, my doomed heroic brothers, backed by Apollo and tragic Ilium. Did anyone hear me? Will anyone ever hear me? Someday, I'll speak poetry where it counts. Wipe the stars from your eyes, Cassandra. Focus on the now.
Word out on the street. Cassandra is on her way to the Areopagus for the retrial of the Danaids. Kume, ditto. But I need information, consideration for the notification of my boss. I compete with her, study her, watch her skirt the circumference of my sphere as if I were not here. This point needs tending to. I write a letter that says, "Dear very important so-and-so, do you disdain to note that I exist? I need an answer to this philosophical question." Or is it perceptual? Metaphysical? Metafictional. Thus, prepare. I guard the intersection that you transgress daily. You cannot progress without slapping my palm with currency carried in the pocket of your dress. If you guess the origin of my song, I throw myself off a cliff and die. Out of my painted brow and sculpted mouth, hot pulses of tragic youth cast a magnetic spell. My pretty lips pout. They kiss your ear when they pronounce a poem with tongue. I'm almost as wise as Solomon. My blood is black and blue and green with venom. It bursts into the color of petulant poppies when exposed to air. Oh, air! Oh, dress that Sylvia Plath wore! Oh, I feel faint! Oh. I feel I fail to impress you, but mostly I ache and burn and turn in circles. I turn tricks like circus orphans, beating sticks. Barefoot, I wander wet blades of flags, of leaves of grass, waving green handkerchiefs and odes to the western wind. How derivative, romantic, transatlantic, hyperromantic. Therefore, I have reshaped you as my eternal foil. I dominate your every sacred, splendid hour with a Mont Blanc pen and an inkblot test. I bury you in history plots, mausoleum slots. In my pocket, I had a knife to cut your eye if you won't cry, if you won't die when I say die. How Andalusian dog. How like a dog I am, one who burns and churns, hoping to get pet. Never pass me by. never cast me aside. Never cease to mark my evanescent spark. Because if you do, I cease to exist. I disintegrate into mist. I am a tyrant, a witch, a narcissist brat. I demand genuflection. I hunger for fame. And yet, how odd. You are a creature apart from me and known to be somewhat kind. Before I sign off, before I take the trip, before I hit the single brick at the base of my ditch, I close with this. You are an obelisk and its opposite cradle. You are the eye of Cleopatra's needle. You tattoo my schemes. You cannot be bought or sold. You fight the path to the marketplace. I sell out daily. I refuse to surrender unless you guess my riddle. I remain your ultimate post-electric punk of surreal shock. The new millennium sphinx.
Do all roads here lead to the Areopagus?
Is that a riddle?
Just a simple question.
All roads lead to this crossroad. This path takes you to the Areopagus if you do a 180.
Thanks, Sphinx. Want a tip?
Get an education, kid! Not funny! She thinks she's so cool. But I'm no fool. She doesn't belong here in this theater. This is no temple to Phoebus Apollo. This is a religious space that celebrates Dionysus, god of wine, chaos, and goat song. Back and forth Cassandra goes. She's pensive, on the defensive. And look, here comes a flock of sister sibyls. Pythia, Sybalia, and the Hebrew sibyl, Sabe. Let's see if they can riddle me this. Yo, Sybil, Oracle of Delphi, what's up?
Godliness encases my skull like a cobra's hood. My jaw unhinges, lips part, tongue loosens to serve the voice of prophecy. Questions of fate you pose. My eyes close, my soul pulls back, then lurches ahead like a winged horse plunging through ethereal skies. Near the core of clairvoyance, outlines of madness appear obscurely bright in the transparent night. I feel alert, attracted, atavistic, strong, distracted, rich and fat, with high reptilian song. Supernatural stars like brilliance sparkle the air. How can death hurt if it feels like God's vast mind, opening wide to drench my speech with heaven's extravagant light?
Say what?
He broke the bank of my brain, that bright, sunny place. Now, the false wisdom of old accounts spills like counterfeit coins from slot machines, out-torn notes from discredited ledgers, fake genealogies, theogonies pour from black pools in the wells of my mouth, and everything theoretical slaps my cheeks with wild and bitter winds. All commerce, all the information I thought I knew, tatters and falls on cue, like letters struck from torn, outworn alphabets.
Weirder than skaditch.
The gods hit where it hurts. They bubble, then strike, thrust, then wobble, wind, rewind, testify. Chapter, verse, book, hour, act, contract. Sibyls pronounce words that plunge countries into trouble, speak lines that thread barbed strings down from the galaxies to fix pinpoints of blood, illustrate the fates with signs, paint the air with stars, write hymns of pitch, tone, noise, use old hymns to warn, hurt, or celebrate using paradox, riddle, rhyme, curse. Through these hands, the gods draw sidewalk pictograms of sun, girl, boy, yet hearts veer, skew abnormally, love looks atypical. Your own hours of madness I sketched like stickmen in the dust with bullseye targets brushed with ink. They shone like portents, cramped guilt alphabets drawn from apocalyptic futures, sketched with skulls and matted hair, God and sex, teeth and math, bombs and bones. It was here, the information you needed. But of poetry, you assume the scribe refers to herself when the monologue says I. You are sly. You look over the oracle's shoulder while she chips her frozen heart into splinters with not a spoon, but a pen, a word.
Dude,
Adrift, rude, bold, electric, high-strung. I sift through abstracted worlds. Forms multiply, shrink, divide, drift like petals blown. Drops of enameled rain. Words surge from syllables, percuss the air, bang foresight from my mouth in round speeches that puzzle the deaf and confuse the scribes. I transliterate the triune fates, blind riddles for supplicants, and hurry fools down temple stairs to crossroads where blind choices branch in mystical threes, like trees in the middle brain, like tripled forks whirling in circular patterns of repeated mistakes. A paradox! A paradox!
I give them up for the black book of ragged truths scribbled in my heart. What a hard blow his promises dealt. A punch to the throat, a kick to the lungs. I almost passed out.
I almost left town. I almost swallowed a potion of hemlock tea and rode a dark horse down to the house of doom. I almost threw my body into the sea, but right free, in gruesome fits of ecstasy. Because from that point on, no poetry, no song, no image of sunlight streaked my mind blind with knowledge.
Prozac. I need Prozac.
Smug, aloof, you feel composed. You watch Prince scribbles across lines of carbon jet. How transparent her mind is to you. Her poem, your interpretations. How close you are, the listener/reader, to her, yet distinct. You sit in a balcony bookshop tea house of noon, while the poet, priestess, prophet paints her spleen on the canvas stage sheet of paper. And you note the bobbin strike, the literary strategy of battles between words of light and words that repeat numb internal encryption saying, it's all you. You're winning. Words that won't shut up. Words imprinted with messages piped in from somewhere else. Strange, destructive, anti-spiritual voices that push you, or her, deeper into the pit. The only signs that steer the soul via engineering designs, programming strategies, hymns, psalms, sacred numbers, songs that access the divine.
Hail, poetry.
That's where the buzzards lurk like crows, like birds reborn in shapes familiar, monumentally profound, cool ancients of old orders, difficult to fathom, like the Sphinx. She asks a question that has no answer, until, blessed and cursed by the gods, a man discerns the trick, is crowned king to marry, and be undone by his mother, the queen, as I foretold. A trap snaps shut. Family romance is wrong undone again in Thebes, or Sparta, Troy. Makes no difference where you are or who. When you, Phoebus, are done with me, you'll cut me loose. In chambers deep with nightmare sleep, I'll see your Casti choose a rope, hang her head in its noose.
Bullet points, please.
Not one description of passion sustained me. No phantom danced before my agonized sight. No luck amused my vanity. I howled against trees, night, moon. I cursed God's blonde son, who longed to eat the flower of my brain's hot seed and seared his tongue with disbelief. Now he, swank golden god, campaigns always to destroy, deny me, wrong, refuse me, haunt me. He who chooses to punish girls with prophecies of darkest ruin, harsh days and nights of rain, and unrelenting gloom.
Now that's jacked up.
And if the Sibyl writes her way towards sanity, if she scribbles words as if footprints leading out of forest into a clearing, if she uses language to defeat the persistent knocks that run in circles in the mind, the program mind that says, believe me. If she defeats the mind's concatenations by scratching a path out of the valley of shadows, the inferno of me, me, me. If she leads you down to Avernus and back, if she points out that the golden rule, mean proportioned bow, alleviates doubt or despair, who's to say she, the poet, scribe, lunatic priestess, is not the genuine thing? The gargantuan female spirit soaring out of mist and gloom on fumes of poetry. For the fancy cheats, as she is fain to, if you teach her to fly straight into the mathematical mind of God.
Ask a simple question. Get the most complicated collection of consonants ever assembled on center stage.
What did you want? A caption, a headline? We're poets and prophets, not town criers.
When somebody asks for the news, we get a little excited.
I smell a spy. I spy a snoop. It's you, Sphinx.
You're going to try and trick us with faux riddles again.
What has 4 wheels and flies?
A garbage truck.
What is black and white and red all over?
A good book.
What crawls on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 in the evening?
Woman. Huh.
Why did 3 seers come to Athens today?
To match wits with.
And vanish for eternity.
The Sphinx from the Acropolis before the Danaids' retrial.
Oh, so they're up against it, eh?
It's no secret, Sphinx. It's old news.
Where have you been?
Stuck at a crossroads where 3 roads meet. I was blown here on an ill wind.
This is sacred ground. Commerce is forbidden here. Get thee hence, feline wench.
Well, right already, meanie.
Fellow Sibyls in Pythia, welcome.
The rest of the Sibyls, where are they?
They may already be here somewhere, wandering the Acropolis, lost as usual.
The trial is tonight.
Affirmative.
So the jury will be the 6 of us seers and...
Nix or night, ate or error, eris or discord, decay or justice, nemesis or nemesis, and malpomene, muse of tragedy.
A fun group.
One of them is bad enough. All of them bundled together, a possible hung jury.
I hope you're not planning on all all the Sibyls to vote for you.
Is that asking too much?
Oh, we're here to listen, but we take orders from no one.
We decide who goes free and who hangs.
This ain't a Western, Pythia. With the hung jury, the defendants walk in honor of Athena.
You can't control the outcome of this trial, see? And no peeking into the future. It's against our code of honor.
Don't worry. I don't want to know how this thing turns out.
We've heard that you're having second thoughts about the defense of these women.
I know you know that I have reservations. But I know that I know you do too.
Clever. Who chose this redundantly profound jury?
The defense chose you and the Sibyls.
So the prosecution, the Furies, chose...
That calamitous catalog of Klingons whose names measure doom, nemesis and friends.
And other than you, the defense team is?
Eos or Dawn and Thalia, muse of comedy.
A Sibyl, a goddess, and a comedienne. Ooh, that reminds me of a joke.
It is a joke. None of us is up to defending women who kill. I despise bloodshed. Eos loves young men.
To death! Literally.
Oh, she's bad luck for men.
Oh, I never intentionally hurt Tithonus or Cephalus.
Oh, she's such an airhead.
With a good heart. The Danaans may have an ally in Thalia, though she's into satire.
Satire is the red-headed stepchild of tragedy, not comedy.
For the muse of comedy, Thalia is fairly cheerless.
Well, but comedy is harder to inspire than tragedy, so her lot in life has not been very easy.
Well, I hope she likes farce. This trial sounds like one to me.
Anything with the Furies could devolve quickly.
Add Eris, sister of Ares, plus Persephone, queen of the dead. Oh, jinkies, all hell might break loose.
As the jury, you will sit just on the other side of the fourth wall, out of sight, but within clear earshot of everything. The truth will preside.
If the fates allow it.
Are the three fates coming?
The fates have no jurisdiction here.
Point, Cassandra. Come on, girls, let's go forecast the weather.
Cassandra!
What is it, freak?
Who are you calling a freak, crazy girl? Lighten up.
Lighten up? Okay. Let there be light. FYI, Sphinx, I don't lighten up. I'm a priestess of Apollo, a seer with a curse and a cause. I am so full of Apollo's light, if I get any lighter, I will burn a hole in your retina. I don't lighten up. I'm dazzling as it is.
In your own mind, maybe. Ow! Okay, ouch! Your soul is the very fabric of light.
Who are you working for? We know you're a spy. Spit it out. Who's put you up to this? Is it Ate? Eris? Nyx? Nemesis? Never mind. It's Malpomene. I can see it.
Man, it's hard to spy on seers.
That should be a no-brainer. I know you have identity issues and all. Part cat, part girl, part snake. But really, you should know better than to try and outfox us. What kind of information does she want?
What's it worth? Okay. She wants to discover your defense strategy.
I don't have one. Tell her that, will ya?
You want me to be a double agent?
Are you on crack? Or is it Oxycontin this time?
I am innately magical. I don't need drugs. Just a better job. No one's into riddles anymore.
Check out the New York Times website. Click on the crossword puzzles link.
Here comes the judge.
Sphinx,
was black and white and red all over.
The Chinese Book of Changes.
A New Age Sphinx. Still, be gone, cat. I know you're snooping for Melpomene.
Nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. Guess I'll go and eat some worms.
Any trial news?
Some of the Sibyls have arrived. Others are circling the vicinity lost.
The Sibyls and Pythia are on your side, right?
Yeah, no. Seers are independent thinkers to the core of their scorched minds.
But can't they sympathize with the Danaids as fellow victims of a fickle fate and a man?
No prophetess is predisposed towards murderers.
And the Furies, are they here yet?
The Furies are late, due to the greenhouse gas effect. It's a wild ride on the interdimensional backdraft.
Do you have a read on which way they'll play this thing?
They're using a mind shield, but if they convince the Seers, the Danaids go down again.
Then I won't let the trial get that far.
How?
I'll think of something.
You're the only judge assigned, right?
Yep. Hades got wind of the feminist movement, Googled it, then declared me the new judge and reserved the Areopagus for us. If I get confused by all the courtroom drama, I'll call for backup.
Oh, maybe we could call for backup like right now.
Don't lose it, Cassandra. Your mind has to be sharp as a tack for the trial. I'm counting on you.
But I'm in this mind-breaking quandary. As a rape survivor, I'm empathetic with the Danaids. Yet I feel contempt for their murderous acts.
I put you on the defense so you'd have a chance to understand these women's violence.
And soon I'll be taking notes on their bouts of bloody mayhem. Oh, joy. Oh, rapture.
I predict you'll learn something from them.
That idea sickens me. But when Hades abducted you, did you soul search?
That was the night a spark of light caught my eye. Its fractured gleam slid the curve of a silver platter's hammered rim. A candle attracted me as it was happening.
A candle flame did all that?
Later, I scrutinized my experience at Eleusis with my mother. She, Demeter, gave mortals the rites there after she sprung me from hell. They were transforming rituals.
Most mortals go mad, into denial or dissociate.
Or change. Ruined by my uncle with permission of my father, I wept, then wrote, then wept, and changed into something better. Mortals need to let tragedy transform them, though it's painful.
To summarize, out of suffering, beauty, from darkness, light.
A romantic view, but not untrue. That little candle came to symbolize divine light. I honor my inner perceptions. They provide a trail out of doom.
But the Danaids, what's their problem?
They keep reliving their trauma, nursing rage and self-loathing.
Maybe they don't know any better.
They're ensnared in their history. These retrials keep occurring to help them break out of the old pattern, but they keep missing the opportunity to be transfigured.
That's too complicated.
Help them speak their stories and let go, Cassandra.
What if they can't do it?
You're a rape survivor. Earn their trust and guide their intentions to release the past. Clear its negative electrical charge.
Getting close to killers. Not my idea of a good move.
No blame there, but better to light a single candle than to curse the darkness, right?
right?
One more thing. Try to get them to offer up some prayers.
Let me get this straight. Ask the killers to offer up prayers. Is that what you said?
It would help move things along.
Another fun little wrinkle in this scheme of yours.
I have faith until the witching hour. Adieu.
What is it Hamlet said? The time is out of joint.
Water poured on water, and on that water, water spilled.
Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right.
You must be Cassandra. We are the chosen Danaids, here for our interview. I am Pirene. These are my little sisters, Phila and Nello.
You girls represent all 49 of the killers in this deposition. But you alone, Pirene, will represent the Danaids at the trial, right?
Right.
Okay. What's your story?
When my 49 sisters and I lived in Argos, our father, King Danaeus, disputed our betrothal to the 50 sons of his brother, King Aegyptus.
An oracle prophesied that by Aegyptus' order, on our wedding night, our cousins were to rape, then kill us.
It was illegal to kill a virgin.
Thereby gaining legal rights to vast land that belonged to our father.
Because our father wanted to keep his kingdom as long as possible, he declared we should flee to Athens, where we had ancient rights of lineage.
We did so and pled for political asylum.
Are you with us so far?
I'm familiar with the story. But then again, who hasn't heard of the infamous Danaids or the Saiyans?
Who's telling the story, you or us?
Easy action.
Just listen. Fast forward. Our father becomes king, then a fleet of ships appears off the coast.
Manned by our cousins, an emissary demands we be handed over on threat of attack.
They too had ancestry rights in Athens. So to avoid war, Father publicly decrees we marry.
Privately, he orders us to slit their throats with hidden knives if they take us by force.
We do, except Hypermestra. Her husband doesn't kill her, rape her, but falls in love with her. Later on, they marry after she's tried in Athens for refusing to carry out Father's orders.
She's acquitted on a technicality, while the rest of us are married off to inconsequential men. When we die and pass into Hades, we're tried there and found guilty.
We are sentenced to pour water from leaking jugs into a leaking pot for eternity. Plus, we undergo periodic retrials, always with the same verdict.
With you as counsel and Persephone as judge and an all-women jury.
We'll be found not guilty, the way it always should have been.
Ta-ta!
The end!
So, did your husbands actually try to kill you girls that night?
We got the jump on them. They groaned. We slashed.
We didn't give them a sporting chance to kill us. We're girls. We'd have lost if we did.
No attempt to negotiate?
We asked them not to rape us. My husband laughed.
So did mine. Believe me, he had it coming.
Say what?
You heard me. He had it coming.
Pop! Sits! Snap! Jeriza!
Cicero!
Lipstein! Like the song.
The cereal jingle. Snap, crackle, pop, rice.
No! The song from the play Chicago!
Oh. So, your line of defense is the murders were preemptive.
We plan to turn to the members of the jury, saying, you might know what it's like to be violated or dishonored. You were young once.
Pestered, mauled, grabbed or groped as adolescent sweet young things in a crowd at parties, receptions, games, drunken gatherings. Perhaps, like us, you were taken by force, surprised to feel flesh branded, blamed for the ways of stray men. You know what it's like to be used and discarded by a relative or a family friend.
You long to run, hide, to escape the danger, the shame. You long to change your hair, your skin, your shoes, your name. You practice the trick of lies and disguise, the art of cracking wise to pretend you're impenetrably tough. You know what it's like to plot revenge and make a shambles of it because you want to change what can't be changed, the past. You know what it's like to want what keeps happening in your head to stop dead and revert to something good.
And then there's the dread of living on long after the deed that has to be defeated, shaken off. For once it happens, your tarnished soul blackens with an X, a hex, the crosshair bullseye target, yes. You're the bruised, dissected child, yet must carry on as if your soul has not been cut up, blown up, lost. But who are you trying to kid? Yourself? Or the son of a savage dog who defiled your flesh, victim in turn of some past God-forsaken lust?
Which was passed on like a disease. Get it?
Got it.
And then we plan to emphasize the oracle's prophecy and remind everyone that Nella was only 11 years old.
So your line of defense is, let us off because you female jurors can relate to the pain of violence done to our bodies.
Yes, empathy. We demand it.
Demand?
We beat the boys. We bested them before they beat and bested us.
The boys took it so personal.
How can you demand empathy?
It was them or us, don't you see?
Even in the afterlife, our cousins have never forgiven us.
Persephone was ravished. We feel she'll rule in our favor.
If you do your job, that is.
Okie dokie. We're done here. Oh, one more thing. If things go south at the trial, would you girls be willing to, say, offer up a prayer or two to...
Demeter, our patron deity?
The only immortal we fully honor other than Persephone?
Demeter was raped by Poseidon. She knows the drill.
Oh, the Kill Bill drill? Or the learn to forgive and let it go drill?
Whose side are you on, Cassandra?
Side?
You Sibyls are all the same. Forgive, forgive, forgive. It's nauseating.
Just offering a little advice to call on the divine, unless, of course, Persephone's suggestion is silly.
Hold on, like Persephone said that?
Affirmative.
We honor Persephone and Demeter, Perenni, remember?
If the going gets rough, we'll do what we're called upon to do.
Whew! What a relief! I thought you girls might get violent on that one.
We get violent with rapists, not Sibyls. Till we meet again.
Cassandra! Oh, no.
Can I have a word with you?
Yes, Nello? What's on your mind?
I wanted to relay my experience of rape so you'd know how it changed me.
Which is?
Thoughts corrupted by memories. Goodwill perverted by the knowledge of a curse. Thoughts that
Are triggered by unexplained events or words. I understand. I too was violated.
In the temple of Athena, your chastity was torn, though Ajax swore an oath of denial.
He lied. But hate the sin, not the sinner. I was also forced by Agamemnon. Being taken as a sphere bride does not imply consent.
But you are a slave. Slaves are often used for pleasure, both boys and girls.
Children treated as slaves grow up to be slaves for others. But how has it changed you, Nello?
When I was raped, I left my body, disconnected from my flesh. I floated far above the bed, turned around in midair, and looked down on me, myself, weeping there. A man was swimming hard upstream into the bones of my arms and between my legs. He struggled to achieve a violent shudder that left him raw. That's when I saw the knife he tucked into his belt behind his back and watched him pull it out. I opened my mouth to scream a warning to myself below, saw that I, lay inert, stunned, in shock. I knew I had to go back inside that girl, to save her from him, to let her live, poor child. And so, with all my might, I pushed myself inside her skin. I plucked the shib I'd planted in my hair to puncture him and struck before he caught his breath, before he lifted his blade to sink it in. I thrust, he stabbed, but I slipped out from under him in the nick, the thick, and floated off to consider sex and blades from that frigid altitude, that alternate world where the soul sits ceremonious, watches over us, coaching us to let things go. I watched him die from there, watched his soul float past, shocked like mine. I never went fully back into myself. I drifted in and out, an outcast. Even dead, when I speak, I'm not there. Like the Cheshire cat, who hides behind his smiles, his sighs, the disassociated swivel of his eyes. My gaze, like his, is cut with ice.
Caught between a rock and a hard place.
Cassandra, can I speak to you privately?
About what? Okay.
Perenne's our leader, but some of us obeyed our father's command without relish. She coached us to recite her poem and dragged us to see the play Chicago again and again.
So you're not all in agreement?
We each have our own stories. Some of them veer dramatically from Perenne's version.
How so?
I was less than happy about puncturing my cousin's flesh with a knife.
It's difficult to kill. It's supposed to be.
I decided not to raise a violent hand unless my groom displayed his murderous intent.
And then?
To my immortal shame, when my cousin finished the act, I saw a flash of silver. Just before he stabbed, I cut his throat. To this day, I remember the smell of blood, like copper coin, iron ore. Clogged my nostrils, gagged my mouth with death of father's brother's son. I counted the beats of his heart's chambers closed, its valves shut down. His lungs gasped and spit and sputtered for air. I thought his weight rolled from under him, lest rigor mortis make his flesh my tomb. Then sopped up pools of blood that leaked his gullet dry, formed black pools beneath our marriage bed. Domestic strife, field of war, where battles are fought in trenches they call cots, sofas, beds. In our family, more the girls defeated the boys, and we were punished forevermore. But my punishment in Hades is apt. I wrote the chant we recite because, out, damn spot! I hoped that all that water would wash away the shame.
You keep saying the word shame. You feel shame because of what?
I was raped at 13. I, a royal princess, became a murderer as a teenager. I was not blessed in my life or afterlife. It causes shame to be so unlucky, unloved by the gods.
I could say the same thing, but I don't.
I was doomed to kill. No one saved me from that fate. My soul was washed at the altar for my crime, but I remember the act of killing all too well.
Though you committed murder, and I was violently murdered, I pity you.
Who wouldn't pity me, a young female killer?
Your cousin, the young male murder victim.
True.
But it's not about whether you deserved a defender in your life or not. You did. It's about taking something from the experience, no matter what the cut or the crime you committed.
I've heard that pearl of wisdom before, but I fail to comprehend it. What can I take from my life except to detest it? Look, I tell you, after I killed my cousin, I cursed and despised his memory for giving me no way out but to kill or be killed. Ever since then, my entire soul burns with hatred and shame.
But isn't it painful to carry on while burning with so much hate inside?
I was raped, and I'm a killer. Shame consumes my soul, but it's my fate. Look, we did initiate the Thesmophoria in ancient Greece. It was a religious festival, honoring Demeter for women only.
The festival rituals, did that help you?
Yes. Oh, some wounds can only be healed by other women.
Pouring water into water, your underworld penance, has it helped?
I've learned that water can't wash away all the blood. Look, I really must go back to camp now. I wanted to set the record straight with you. Some of us loathe our crimes. Others are proud of their butchery, and perhaps justly.
Scylla and Charybdis all over again.
So, I flirted for a while with the Apollo on the astral plane exchanging poetry. Then, I fell for his line of how I,
Malcolm Manning, muse of tragedy, inspire this poetry. That's hilarious. Apollo is not inspired by tragedy. He loves lyric poetry. Plus, almost every woman he pursues ends up in some tragic fate.
he pitches woo to a nymph, and next thing she knows, she's a tree.
He pursues one of his sibyls, and before you know it, no one believes her prophecies. The muses have better luck. But anyways, I hear he's seeing a sea nymph on the side. I break it off. Then he posts a tragic poem on his Facebook.
saying he's fallen flat out in love with me, but he's plagued with his obsession with sweet young things, and he's crying out for me to become his friend with benefits. That's so 80s.
Probably thinks you're a desperate loser because you inspire tragedies.
Thanks. He wants me to praise him for going public and being honest about his other women. So yesterday, I texted him saying, if you want to know the truth of this thing, there is no truth of this thing. Truth is a perfect decibel, a drop of rain, a final punctuation mark, a transported frame of uncorrupted knowing. You've seen that. You have been there. And then, a couple of deceptions later, we are at this impasse, this trespass, this visitation. I'm a dark angel kneeling over your shoulders, pinning you down, wrestling you to a confession you then refute. It's not funny the way you sing sweet songs in dreams, a box, a notebook of the imagination, while I stand by like a guardian, watching you sleep, dismissed with a wave. This poetry, this song you compose, is not serious, because serious is dark, and this disaster is not the tragedy you envision. Invade the narrative, don't evade the knot of complication. I can't look at the serious smile on your lips without hearing a cancellation that doesn't erase the sting of loss. Poetry doesn't fix things that can't be fixed by poetry. It's an elixir for you, the latest intoxicant for the wandering priest of fantasy and distraction, the brute beast attracted by the hot iron of an illicit kiss. You're almost right. Art is play, an elevated, artificial universe, a far better stage than the turnstile world you visit for a freakish fit of spastic pleasure. You hunt for a higher fix, more glory, a secret hidden passion, eternal, immediate access to the divine, but you corrupt the passion of initiation. You smear the image, fake the icon, blur the ink. You reject the elemental gift of disposition. You forge a melancholic tear. You indulge in lust for dust jacket fame, for goblets of starlit rain. It's the usual fare. Sentimentalize pain, romanticize the page remains aloof. Try to remember this stern rebuke. When you dare cheat the muse, you cheat yourself.
That's one hell of a text message.
Yeah, you sure told him. He's such a drama queen. Apollo is a narcissist, second only to Narcissus. And my loyalty is to Dionysus. I'm a tragedian first, then a poet, then a lover. Yeah, you're a poet and you didn't know it. But your feet show it. They're long, fellows.
Bite your tongue now.
Hey, leave irony to Talia. Don't be ranking on the muses.
Hey, mess with me, tragic muse, and I'll become your personal nurse.
Oh, yeah?
So it begins a fight between you two.
Maybe, maybe not.
I am on vacation. On my downtime. And I get called up for jury duty with Nemesis. Do you know that I'm inspiring a new drama?
About a curse on the muse of tragedy that turns pathos into bathos.
You are mean, that's all. I thought you were supposed to create balance in the universe.
Ideally, but in reality.
Make Mel's life more tragic and you fulfill her role as muse of tragedy.
Which is the opposite of my intention. So it would be within character to call a truce.
Afraid you won't always appear as a contrarian? Is that the force driving you?
Kinda.
You always were wound tight, Nemesis. It would help if you'd surrender first might, then light's wild grip on your mind in the act of fighting, so that that other will, superior, interior, cosmic, would see without static interference from the miniature ego with the absurd focus.
On your lyric advice, Nix, I'll think. But now, I'll charge to serve at the retrial of the Danaans. Does anyone have an angle to play?
I have a tragic angle, as usual. Let's send those girls to Tartarus.
Or not.
Blackout!
Oh, trapped like mice! Rats! I must be circling my own tracks. The Areopagite us to be right there, but no! If only I had a scribe with me. I could ask myself for directions. I have my own built-in GPS system, but since I go into a trance when I transmit, I have no idea what I said when I snap back. Oh, but where am I? Oops. Here comes the transmission. A handful of dirt, delivered in an envelope, trashed my 1,000-year exile. You, Apollo, poisoned the pores of my hands with silt. You finished me off after the existence I paid as a living wage for your godly attraction to my flesh. You scooped up 1,000 jots of sand and sifted them in the wind. You swore I'd live the same number of years as grains of dust, and for a turn in bed, you'd add youth to the bargain. Is this a test, I wondered? I had taken a vow of chastity. I said no. Next thing I know, my name goes down on a blacklist. Banished from Erythri, I'm jailed further by Apollonian edicts cursing me to die if I ever touch the soil on which my talent for prophecy and cold longevity was born. So it is I who withered on a string from which 1,000 years of nights hung themselves. It is I who languished like a praying mantis on bended knee, dying in a temple of sticks in Cumae. It is I who died on the spot when I unsealed the divine missive and fingered once, and at last, the bits of sand that defined me in the calling of Sibyl, priestess of Apollo. It was I who wrote the books that were burned to ash and dust, books that could have saved the world from tilting off its axis now, books that redeemed the travesty of time I breathed, the prison tour I served on earth, the bitter joke designed by a divine as fitting punishment for one who refused to give herself to the escort of the sun. God's blonde son, harbinger of happiness, crypt thief who stole doom from death and night and mystery. To me, the wild child, Sibylline freak who dared declare no to life, he bestowed the longest life ever lived. Oh, darn pollution! Messing with my transmissions. Oh, there's a torchlight on the hill. That must be the night court of the Areopagites. I can't read this map Fido gave me. Pulling jury duty for a retrial of the Danaans. What a dread. Oh, wait, I know. I will stand on my rock and ask for directions. Where am I going? In the beginning was the Word, prophetic, visionary. I dream of the future, predict the present,
restore the past tessellated colors. The air speaks to me, tells me what to do, what to pronounce as fact. Frightening. I terrify every civilian. I hide in a room and I write books, read maps, portents, stars, ride out a storm of wisdom, interpret scriptural acts for the greater good, tell the truth in the form of a lie, a story, a joke, a poem. It's not enough for me to be reborn as who I am, fresh, free, and sanctified by claiming faults that I possess. That scene has to crash. And when it crashes, I crash with it. To enter the mouth of a shrine, a temple, I pass a flock of hustlers, circling suppliants like scavengers. A shot, a pill, a jewel, a blow. How is it that we don't know the way to protect ourselves from the rush of wind that rushes in when adrenaline pumps its gorgeous colors into the ring? Beware, all mere occasions of meeting flesh-seeking dealers of cash-traded girls, crude street merchants who hustle and flow, messenger boys and corner girls, prodigal youths already penetrated by the penetrating throb of despair. Inside a shrine, the air is rarefied, purified, but passing through the thick of human weather, one gets burned. That's how one learns. Thus and so, priests wear black, whores hang themselves from doors, matter disintegrates into atoms, phantom particles reintegrates as pristine math, civilized physics, 64 hexagrams of changing lines, the third Bordeaux. Thus and so, mistakes regenerate art into infinity. The cradle of blood cracks, pour libations, break wafers. Our words are acts. Years pass. In the beginning was. I forgot to ask, is there a scribe in the audience taking notes tonight? Rats. Oh, wait. I see a light up ahead. I'll head toward it.
Is that you, Alecto?
Alecto? Megara?
No, it's me.
Tisiphone! No, Alecto. Megara?
It's me, Tisiphone. Where are you? Freaking man, you idiots! Can't you tell each of us from the other by now?
Reality check. Oh, we're the Furies. I'm Alecto, or Emma Peel from the Avengers. I'm Megara, a.k.a. Uma Thurman from Kill Bill.
I'm Tisiphone, landlady from Kung Fu Hustle.
For a minute there, I thought we'd morphed into Transformers.
Nah, just a little team-building exercise I designed to warm us up for the trial.
Game faces on for the duration, right, girls? So we hide any mercy, such as that found in your new Manifesto of Fake Fury, Alecto? For the time being.
How does it start with, sisters? Why run from suffering? Why flee conscience? Grieve instead, mourn. Pluck your heart's taut wires and weep ancient salt tears that clot the pathways of inspired reason, temperate passion. Purge yourself of self-pity.
Wade through a morass of pooled loss, the marshland that still bogs you down with fear. Why refuse to suffer when you suffer profoundly? Then mask it, veil it, pretend like a goddess to live in self-regulated bliss. Name the advantage of dwelling in a jungle of unnamed rabid needs. Relent for once. Put up your intellectual gloves. Your whole entire fortification of pale defenses. You cannot beat us at games we invented to win endgame.
Learn to refuse to fight.
Sisters of Mercy, we're not.
Florence Nightingales, we ain't.
Revenge Queens, that's who we are.
Dressed in black we'll always be, until there's peace on earth for eternity. It's the spirit of Johnny Cash and us, fighting crime and incivility forever.
Now fly, float,
Flee until we reconvene to prosecute the Danaids to the full extent of the law. Thalia, the comic muse, is on her way, and she's secretly on our side. Randomly, let us three fly, float, flee!
Thalia, is that you?
Last I checked, Eos.
Oh. Well, it's almost time to report in. Are you ready to defend the Danaids as suggested? Huh?
That they're innocent because they're dumb as a sack of rocks and couldn't think of a better way to defend themselves? That Daddy made them do it?
It was called self-defense.
I would rather stick forks in my eyes than defend those butchers.
So they should have taken it? Their cousin/husband's rape/murder?
I don't know, I'm confused. Isn't that called turning the other cheek?
Baloney. It used to be, if a woman took a rape without a struggle, she was asking for it.
So struggle and scream, but don't kill. Anyways, I'm describing the orthodox position on forgiveness, the kind the Amish use. Not this newfangled thing called forgiveness light.
Well, perhaps forgiveness is unpopular because few people live to promote the position.
Nobody likes a comedian, Eos. I should know.
Point is, the Danaids had every right to defend themselves.
Can't a woman fight brutality with forgiveness? Can't one stun rather than kill?
If trained in combat and lucky. But can't one fight in love and forgiveness as in war times? Military leaders have to contrive animosity and implant it in soldiers who would otherwise have no reason to kill. I know this, I had an affair with Ares.
And Aphrodite found out.
Right.
She cursed you into falling in love with young mortal men.
Oh, you know my story.
You started kidnapping youths and whisking them off into the clouds, right?
Allegedly. Well, I tried to get out of that fate in a million ways. I even tried to reverse the curse on her, but eventually, I had to just surrender it up to Demeter to beat it. You see, after a while, it's no longer frightening or tragic. It's no longer crushing or oppressive or maligned. After a while, you no longer fret or blame or complain, and the revenge you plotted, appears insane. So, you pull the gloves from your hands, climb out of the ring, and untangle the ropes with which you've coiled your mind, because at last, you're done. Well, and as for the rakish cruelty, the rogue acts of incontinence you once performed to act out fear and pain, well, you followed sacred advice for once in your absurd life. Closed your eyes, clasped your hands, and prayed. And after a while, the blessings you never sought seem to come as a reprieve you think you deserve. But you revive truth, splash tears on arrogance you used to nurse, and refuse to replay the restless curse. Then dumb devotion and dumb intelligence transform shame into a landscape like heaven. It's not like sorrow or insanity, not like melancholy or crime. It's divine. It's a gravitational reversal that the world inspires when you seek the horizon line. Dawn is sublime.
So you gave up a vice.
Like an accursed compulsion. Getting a monkey off your back is like freedom, baby.
Well, domestic war should be so simple, but it's not. I'm not fond of killers, though I have had a killing wit when wronged in love, so I might come to understand the Danaans.
Like, all is fair in love and war.
Touché, but it's a creepy reality.
Look, I need a nap. Like, all of this philosophical dialogue really knocks me out. So I'll see you in our chambers like before the circus begins, and ciao bella.
Back at ya. I did have a fit when my last consort, who was an actor, betrayed me. What he did wasn't as bad as committing violence to my body, though I did write a tirade and sent it to him saying, all the pieces stuck together like grit. Chipped flakes of sand and stone, glued fast by 10 applications of plastered paint. The impasted surface, encrusted, enameled, glazed, rusted. No wonder it was lost between us. No wonder fear, guilt, remorse ruled the stage. No wonder the lights blinked on and off. Things had to change. I think of being stuck in a pot of glue when I think of you. A fool who'd been untrue. I varnished the scrim blue to hide my gloom. We all do strange things with states of ruin. I paint masks with mine, conjure green smoke, take pratfalls, tell jokes, hang a sly half moon from the trap door of my doom, then plot a scene about a clown of sublime accent. A girl god among wizards, buffoons, tools. A heroine whose fate is streaked with blown stars as she stumbles towards misfortunate crimes and bounces back time after time. We extract what's potent, capricious, maligned, cynical, redundant, in plays for grins. Put down the knives and pins. You look sheepish, faking grandiloquent speech on the stage with no props, backdrops, and stops. Use this page as a flag of truce curtain drop. You flopped one act ago anyhow. Now pronounce your exit. Usher out the boys, the chorus of clowns. Strike the set and dismantle the show. Maybe Eos is right.
As goddess of justice, I watch the news for leaks of injustice, so I'm sleep deprived. Today, the fate of a 13-year-old trafficked girl hangs in the balance. Will she be deported, or will she live at the Cabrini Center and then the Y? Will she graduate junior high? Doubtful. Her handler could track her down and kill her, or kidnap and prostitute her all over again. Eris, goddess of discord, instigator of war, and Octave, goddess of error, troublemakers both. Come to thwart justice, or are you going to play nice this time?
Excuse me? I have it knocking around within me. War, war, war. The blood draw of eagle's claw, serpent strangle, tooth and talon, beak-jawed fang and plated nail. These are the weapons I store deep inside my arcane war chest, battle zone of my bony brazen breast. I bear a sword, wield a spear, carve conflict out of outrage, fury. I fuel the spark, calm the cleric, swell the general, fell the soldier. I arrange cities to burn in a boy's dream of vengeance because bombs clash in the heaven of my sordid mind. Their crash inside my divine eardrum wreaks carnage from my muscular brain.
Banished from heaven, I roam the earth, punished for wringing from the lips of Zeus a vow that bleached to a curse his trivial promise regarding his son's heroic future. A plague, as it turns out, on Heracles, Tricked from the mouth of thunder, by error, defect, blunder, me, mighty Ate, me, the bane of the mortal lot. Because I dwell here among slow humans, you make the same dumb mistakes ad libitum. Some call me an avenger. Others dress me in excess in revenge of evildoers. But correct the euphonic image, the false report now. I'm the jinx that jars the loose elbow, that slaps the faces of children, slaves, women, girls. I jog the petty race of sins that escalates towards war.
Thus, I carry on. I carry it. Bloodletting is an eternal threat, a warning inflected across a desert, a crest of silver and brass polished to a luster like lightning, a lyrical list of the fallen during the useless rout of combat. Schemes appear and disappear. Plots erupt into thrust, flank, retreat, entreat, attack, surrender. The fates preside. And always within my mind, divine strife wages on. The wombs of civilization plundered for hero after hero as the plains blacken, unmanned by the brute lash of war.
I'm dressed in black and white. My hair's combed back like seafoam, white and black. My robe is torn, my throat unadorned. I look the hungry, misaligned bride of strife that I am not. When Zeus threw me out of the sky, I struck the blue planet where Troy was built, foreclosing Ilias's account with fortune long before Apollo or Poseidon shaped, baked, or laid a brick. Long before Troy was betrayed, raised by cunning barbaric Greeks.
Everybody wants to be a tough guy these days, right?
You got a problem with that, DK?
I take it you want the Danaids to burn in Tartarus.
Don't you, DK?
It's always a delight to chat, isn't it?
You're avoiding the question.
Every question leads to another question, doesn't it?
Your questions are statements.
Tagged with rhetorical requests for agreement.
You got a problem with that?
No skin off your nose if they burn.
Nor off yours if they proceed to the Elysian fields.
They're killers.
So is Achilles, yet he's there.
That's different.
War is hell.
Domestic war ain't no picnic either.
Well, we'll just have to hammer it out at the trial. The bell just tolled. It tolls for thee and thine.
Later. Oh, and DK, don't be surprised if this little mock trial erupts into war. My special gift to the mortal world. Ta.
Bang zoom! Says here that a 14-year-old traffic girl tried to commit suicide after a cop she asked for help raped her. High drama in the news. Film reviews, crime reports, war room notes, and horoscopes. It swirls the atmosphere, serves as a distraction from higher laws and just causes. Take that girl depicted in the film Eastern Promises. She died a similar fate. Oh, and here's an ad for a play about a survivor of trafficking. I saw it last weekend. It's a tragedy to which I must respond. Even though... Was it a war? No, it was not a war. Blood stained the ground, a knife split his side, it opened a man's gut, a woman's belly. But the cuts were figurative, literary. For most, it was not a war. Certainly we entered the theater of fear and pity in one frame and exited newly born. Certainly we watched a tragedy played in slow, melodramatic stages and scenes enacted with monochromatic flares for death and despair. Certainly we questioned the fate's determinations, the Furies' refusal to appear. We asked if gods were not mad consumptives, set to eat human flames and spit up embers. machinery of confidence games grinds mortals to clay, to unthinking beast, but when they resist material pursuits, they spit in greed's gold eye. Sanctify them, you angelic forces. Teach them that all that happens to bring about change. Help them to make grateful prayers and take action. I'll steer them past the mundane usury of lust for coins. Strive to reward the just.
Days, weeks, months, years, a mere hour drags. His seed swims like silver medallions inside me. I dream of blight, a blotted light, a clot infecting tendrils that knot my womb tight. Dry roots webbed to nets, spread drab gray threads like dying vines, like dying strands of time. Tuber filaments weave a sinew cloth, grow beds of grass and leaves around porphyric rock. I will not live to be a mother. No. I'll die if I bear a child on this side of doom, and they'll not let me die. Hell no, I'll live dead forever. My blood's ichors blanch, my veins collapse, and then the traffic of miracle workers and do-gooders trickles past. Prophets, priests, and healers ranked among Morpheus's mythological dream folk. Candlelight cracks mephitic gloom. Jade roots creep through the tomb's basal slab, penetrate my muted feet, toes and heels, cut past thin shafts of tarsal bone, the husk and shanks of shin, thigh, flank. The immaculate seams of my heart congeal. Tiny flames gutter shut. Trapped in this, I forget to cease to breathe. Once dead, I was reborn, thanks to my divine mother's intervention. I serve now as judge over these proceedings. I call the defendant's representative forward.
Water, poured on water, and on that water, water spilled. I, Pirene, stand as representative for all of my 49 sisters, the Danaids.
Very well, Pirene. I now call the defense team forward. Welcome, Cassandra, Eos, Thalia. I now call the prosecution, the Furies, forward. Magara, Tisiphone, Alexa. Ladies, welcome. Let the prosecution state the case against the defendants and call your witnesses.
Sibyls, muses, ancient deities, sorceresses, and most especially the Honorable Pookie, here on behalf of Canines All. I called you here today.
Objection!
On what grounds?
Electo did not call us here. You did, Your Eminence, Queen Persephone.
Sustained, you stand corrected.
Members of the court, I address you on behalf of the 49 murdered sons of Egyptus, whose souls wander the fields of mourning to this day, longing for revenge.
Longing for justice in the cases of capital murder committed against each by one of the 49 daughters of Danaus. Murders that were premeditated, ritualized, and unjustified. The sons of Egyptus long for justice, and we long for revenge.
We long for justice also, as I'm sure you do too, ladies and other ladies of the jury, we seek a guilty verdict, as usual, and request that subsequent to the verdict's pronouncement, the just punishment of eternity in the hellfires of deepest Tartarus be meted out to the 49 Danaans on trial today. We rest our case.
You mean you open your case?
Hey, open it, close it. It's all the same to us, your wizardry. This is an open and shut case.
The court disagrees. Call your first witness.
You are our first witness.
Highly irregular, not to mention unorthodox and unrealistic, but you may proceed.
Were you, or were you not, raped by your husband Hades and dragged into his homeland, the underworld?
Objection, like irrelevant. What happened to you has nothing to do with the Danaans case.
Overruled. I'm curious. So, yes, I was kidnapped and raped by my future husband.
Hey,
Hades,
just answer the questions, Your Excellency.
Objection! Bullying the queen of the underworld. Lack of due justice.
It's sustained. Watch your tone, girls.
After your rape, did you or did you not contemplate revenge? Did you long for justice after your rape?
I was only 13 years old.
A simple yes and no, Your Majesty. Subsequently, did you not come to accept your husband?
Accept, but not love. My thoughts did not that way tend at first.
A simple yes or no. And do you not now enjoy the super privilege of reigning as queen of the underworld as a result of said rape?
Yes, but...
So there was a benefit to the ordeal.
Objection!
On what grounds?
Leading the witness.
Sustained, I agree.
What did you girls do? Leave rape fantasies over the weekend?
It's a legitimate question. Bride rapes or abduction marriages go on in Middle East and Near Eastern countries to this day. Some of the women admit they're happy after a period of adjustment.
Like, some adjust. But like, according to interviews though, even those women who adjust to their fates wouldn't wish the same destiny on their daughters, striking a moral normative chord. Like, if you can't wish a behavior or fate on your child or a child for whom you care, then the behavior or action is said to be like on shaky moral ground.
Sustained, as I said. Now I say it more emphatically.
No further questions. Your witness, Cassandra, et al.
Persephone, if you could turn back time to that day when Hades swept you away, would you prevent the abduction and rape from occurring?
Yes.
No further questions.
Prosecution, you may cross-examine.
You'd surrender fame and honor as the Queen of Hades in exchange for your innocence.
That wasn't the question, but I would. A temperate courtship would have pleased both me and my mother.
But the practice at the time required the father's consent only, right?
True, but
Hades got your father's permission to kidnap and take you, right?
my father Zeus did in fact pimp me out to his brother Hades. And like most contemporary victims of trafficking, I was sold out by a family member. It was a simple matter of horse trading from the male perspective.
But Hades and your father adhered to the conventions of the time period.
Fathers arranged marriages of daughters to suitors. Marriage rituals required
Just
that
the facts, ma'am.
Shut up, counsel! This is my court! Conventions on earth do not subsume a higher moral law. My mother, the goddess Demeter, deserved the respect of Zeus and Hades, not to mention the respect that I deserved. Marriage rituals that included the mother were not followed by Hades. He would have never made me queen without my mother's intervention. Generally speaking, I rest my own cross-examination.
No further questions.
Next witness.
We call Hypermnestra to the witness stand. Do you swear to the gods above and below to spit out the truth when questioned?
I do.
Were you, or were you not ordered by your father to kill Lynceus, son of Aegyptus, your new husband, just after consummating the marriage, and ditto for your sister Danaeus?
If they raped us, we were ordered to kill them.
Hypermnestra, why were you ordered to kill your husband?
If he forced the consummation of the marriage.
It was against custom for a woman to kill anyone until after she lost her virginity.
No, not that why. The why of why did your father command you to kill your cousins?
It was the prophecy of the Oracle of Livia, as well you know.
And did you, or did you not, refrain from killing your husband on your wedding night?
I did.
Did what?
What you asked.
What?
What?
Objection. Council's questioning shows signs of dementia. It's confusing the witness.
It's sustained. What are you getting at, furious one?
Why did you refrain from killing Lynceus?
He did not rape me.
Even though his 49 brothers took sporting advantage of their wedding vows?
That's a yes.
But your sisters went ahead and premeditatively murdered their husbands, right?
They admitted to killing the men at the first trial.
But they won't take responsibility for their actions, claiming they obeyed their father's injunction and Zeus's command to honor the father.
A minute ago, you attempted to let Hades off the hook for the rape of Persephone because Zeus sanctioned the union. Now, why don't you let the girls off too? They also obeyed an order of Zeus's. You can't have it both ways.
Objection! A witness is leading the prosecution. Strike that statement!
I object to your objection. You are trying to censor her defense of her sister's actions from the court records, cleansing history of details that fail to suit your prejudicial argument.
Sustained. Defense counsel's objection to your objection to sickening is sustained, and your objection is overruled.
But what about the higher law cited earlier? Didn't those men deserve to live?
Objection! Rhetorical, conjectural, immaterial, hypothetical, theoretical.
It's sustained.
No further questions. Your witness.
Hypermnestra. Was the prediction that the sons of Aegyptus planned to kill you and your sisters ever confirmed?
The prediction of the Sibyl of Livia was confirmed by my husband's testimony eons ago.
Is your husband available for questioning?
He's waiting in the wings.
No further questions.
And you may step down, Hypermnestra, but don't leave town.
Yes, Your Honor.
Prosecution, call your next witness.
We call another rape victim to the witness stand, Cassandra.
For the love of Zeus.
Again, highly irregular. Cassandra is defense counsel. But you may take the stand. Please take the stand, dear. Eos or Thalia will cross-examine.
Do you swear to gods and goddesses above and below to spit out the truth when asked?
I do.
Were you or were you not raped on the altar of Apollo by Ajax the Lesser when Troy was overrun with Greeks at the end of the Trojan War?
I was.
Did you ever seek revenge against Ajax or the Greeks?
I took a pacifist view of revenge. She who lives by the sword dies by the sword.
Ironically, you didn't live by the sword, but you did die by the sword of Clytemnestra.
Still, my hands are clean of blood.
Have you ever wished evil on Clytemnestra or sought revenge against her as a ghost?
At first, yes, but later, no.
So, you yourself avoid revenge, and yet you defend the Danaids, women who killed their rapists. How do you defend your defense of them?
It wasn't revenge. Plus, you Furies revenge rapes as blood crimes, so even if
Hey,
it was...
we kill joy. I mean, we don't kill, people. We kill joy. Our victims, they long for death. But, we ain't butchers.
It was self-defense on the part of the Danaids, an act of collective courage that challenges patriarchal norms about women's rights to commit violent acts to protect themselves.
So you're a turncoat on the pacifist movement, eh? Peace out when it's socially cool, but pick up the knife if it's convenient.
I'm not on trial here, and the Danaids were raped.
Within a marriage? Impossible.
It's a consent issue, Tisiphone. The Danaids told their husbands they didn't want to make the beast with two backs. The men should have respected that request, and you, the furies of all women, should defend rather than prosecute women who fight for themselves.
Hey, we're not the ones on trial here.
We're all on trial here, apparently. The Danaids trumped the men.
Murder is a blood crime.
So is rape.
Murder's worse.
Says who? I was raped, and I was violently murdered. Two crimes you've never suffered and never will. One kills your body, the other kills your soul. I'll be the judge of which is worse.
Hey, being the victim of a crime don't make you an expert in it.
Neither does reading case law.
Objection. These two are just having an argument with each other.
Wrap it up, you two.
You, of all women, should be sitting where I'm sitting, defending the Danaids.
And you should be standing in my shoes, prosecuting the killers to the full extent of the law.
Society requires women to behave in a docile manner. Commit no crime, spill no blood, no matter what violence is done or planned against you. You've argued the very point.
You think you're so smart because you were wronged and raped and murdered. You think all your petty suffering makes you an expert on justice.
Objection, like redundant, personal, hostile, topical, disrespectful, contemptible, ridiculous.
It's sustained. Calm down, girls.
Speaking of contemptible, that chauvinistic contempt for women who take action in the face of violence indicates an inequitable application of the divine law of free will.
Say what, oh queen of confabulations?
You have got a chip on your shoulder, T.
Like, we object to the chip on her shoulder.
You've been warned, T.
Please clarify your point for those of us less sophisticated than you.
If the fabled 7th Cavalry had saved the Danaids from the sons of Aegyptus, the soldiers would be considered heroic, inside or outside of marriage. If a woman is attacked, she has the same options as a man and shouldn't be punished just because she defeats a male attacker. Weaker than their adversaries, untrained in war, the only hope for the Danaids in man-to-woman combat was to get the jump on the men.
And it is always more fun to get the jump on the men.
Hussy.
But the Danaids have been judged harshly, essentially because they weren't good wives. Their ability to act in a violent way defies conventional views of women's passivity that are upheld by women as well as men. If there was a time and place for everything, then that was the time and place for those sisters to defeat their assailants, giving women always and everywhere a model of action and triumph over and against socially acceptable victim models of women.
Not to mention conquering the men.
Never fail to mention, conquering the men.
Women are essentially trained to be weak. Look at me. I was incapable of defending myself in so many scenarios. Victim. 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 That's what I was my whole life, despite the gifts given me. I find the Danaids heroic and worthy of a place in the Elysian fields.
The judge and the jury will do the finning around here, thank you very much.
No further questions from the prosecution.
No further questions from the defense.
You may return to your seat. Your next witness?
We call Perenni to the witness stand. She's here to represent her sisters.
Do you, Perenni, swear to Zeus that you'll spit out the truth when asked a question?
I do.
Any regrets, Perenni?
Nope, not me. Rien de rien. Some of my sisters feel torn up about it. Why does it matter? Are you going to prosecute us based on our feelings or our actions?
It might help if you could convince the court that you've taken your punishment to heart.
I said it before. I'll say it again. They had it coming.
No remorse for murder. She should be condemned to hell along with the rest of them.
Some of my sisters feel remorse. Some do not. Can you weigh an emotion? Why should our feelings influence whether or not we go to hell?
Hey, contrition matters in courts of law. Why should you get off lightly for murder?
Why should you want to punish us so much? We've paid our dues for centuries in Hades. Can someone give me a hand here before she bashes me over the head?
I'm telling you, honey, thousands of years of penance is nothing. You get it? A big fat goose egg.
Objection! And a plea for divine backup.
I'm going to gag you to Sippity.
Hey, this thing is rigged! Goddesses, come to our aid!
Yeah, they're fair. Gods preserve and sustain us.
Rumble!
Bring it on.
Demeter, protect us!
Goddesses, come to our aid!
Order in the court! Criminy, I am being nibbled to death by ducks. I could use some divine intervention. Mother, wow! Hell breaks loose in the retrial of the Danaids. You're a sight for sore eyes. This whole experiment is out of control. Open and shut self-defense case, isn't it? 3 words. The Fury. That's 2 words, but 3 women, 1 problem. I know. They're fighting tooth and nail, and for no reason. And the Danaids? Damaged. Thousands of years have passed, but for them it happened yesterday. Some are bitter, some are hateful, some have dissociated and remain so. All are conflicted, confounded, confused, depressive, obsessive, compulsive. I wanted this retrial to cleanse them of their toxic feelings and set them free.
There's a piece to this story that you don't know. It's rather unpleasant.
What?
The Danaid story took place when you were a mere child and not yet an Olympian. I never filled you in on the details because of your delicate history.
Lay it on me, Mother.
Danaeus, the girl's father, was inappropriate with some of his more attractive daughters, including Perenni, Nilo, and Phila.
You mean inappropriate in the usual way? Sexually?
Yes. They blocked it out of memory, even as immortal spirits.
That's why they're so messed up.
And why they need divine help. We're going to have to saturate this courtroom with light.
I was hoping you would say that.
It'll help everyone, especially the Furies. Are you up to it?
There's nothing I like better than to give a blessing.
A little Deus Ex Machina goes a long way.
Do you want me over here or over here?
Over there, please. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Source of all being.
Focus your light within us.
Make it useful as a beacon that shows the way.
Loose the cords of mistakes binding Perenni, the Danaids, and the rest of us.
As we all release the strands of others' guilt.
Let this be done for all who wish it.
Keep us from entering into forgetfulness.
Free the Danaids, free us all from unripeness.
Transform us in trust and faith with the highest frequencies of divine love and light.
Amen. think that was enough of a jolt?
They're blissed out, girl. Oh, good thing they all asked for help at the same time.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I've realized.
What's that?
I am not cut out for the law. Not even the fake, phony version of it. And people, even the dead ones,
they're impossible without our help, which they shun.
Well, are you going to stick around and watch things settle into harmony?
Hell no. I'll just release them and be on my way.
Well, counsel,
May we approach the bench?
you may speak from where you are.
We'd like the court to drop the charges.
An obvious case of self-defense.
And the Danaids are free to roam.
What about the jury?
Dismissed.
And your ruling?
May I approach the bench?
Speak from your mark, Perrine. What is your request?
I propose that we serve for eternity the mortal women who need help from violence and trauma. The Danaids could be on call forever to pour the cleansing waters that rinse away the imprint of aggression.
A generous request, and it shall be granted. Your purgation is finished. You'll reside in Elysium unless ministering to mortal women. And court is adjourned.
Oh, that was a good thing you did, Cassandra.
Thanks.
You know, there's been a visitation by an Olympian.
Yeah, we had a bump of something from somewhere.
Is that why I feel so light?
This space is shimmering with light.
Speaking of light, Thalia, it's almost dark. We better go. Let's split.
Well, I'm on my way to Mount Parnassus. Are you going my way?
Oh, you bet. Like, I've got to catch up with Apollo's chariot. It's like bringing dawn into the world at night.
Well, beam us up, Scotty.
You're hilarious, Thalia.
Well, I am a comedian.
Like, isn't laughter a defense?
Against evil, yes, or pain, disease. I've always said that the best defense is a good offense.
Like, wait, I thought it was the other way around.
Well, yes, it works both ways. That is the beauty of Vince Lombardi's ethos.
Ooh, Lombardi agree with that?
You could ask him. He's in the Elysian Fields. I'm on his MySpace.
So did something weird just happen here? Because I feel purified.
I have an inkling that... Oh, what the hell? My mother came down and we gave you a blessing.
Demeter was here at the Areopagus? Holy smokes, that's a first.
Double wow! I used to want to be a gun ball. But now I feel purified, and that feels like acting a part in a play.
Demeter and Persephone set you and your sisters free to go out and do good in the world.
And you too, Cassandra. Nice job on the defense.
Yeah, I see a new line of work for you.
No way.
The way. You even avoided mentioning the decapitation of the men.
That never happened.
I wasn't bringing it up if the Furies forgot it. Besides, it's hearsay, right, Perrine?
Right as rain, it's an old man's tale, it's a myth. But that's my cue. For telling my sisters the good news, thank you, Persephone, for your help, and thanks to your mother for helping us see the light. Thanks to you too, Cassandra.
Glad to help. I'm headed back to Elysium, going my way.
Well, that was a win-win, I hope. Are you ladies at ease with the verdict?
Cassandra is a genius as a defense attorney.
She's my new hero. I mean,
Heroin!
Hey, but I had to go in there for a while, though.
So, you're not furious with the verdict?
Yeah, I'm down with it.
You were on the Danaid side?
Those boys were going to butcher them.
They defended themselves.
Yeah, and we fought hard for the record books and for the fun of it.
That's what you call it.
It's true, though. You almost blew it with Cassandra, Tisiphone.
You were itching to defend the Naiads, and she was about to prosecute them.
Yeah, things blurred there for a minute.
And then settled into fisticuffs.
Well, I might have missed the cue somewhere, but Demeter bailed us out, right?
Anyways, it all worked out. I'm headed to Mount Olympus for 2/3 of the year. Thank you for your work, ladies. Cheers. Sláinte. Ciao.
On to our next case. Busting up a human trafficking ring in Houston, Texas, US of A, and closing down a massage parlor that serves overweight middle-aged sex addicts.
Ooh, tea. That sounds all well and good and everything, but Medora and I were thinking of changing careers.
What is this heresy?
Revenge gets old, T. All that hating wears us down.
Hey, or perks us up with a rush.
You know, they've got programs for ragers, T.
And you're a rager.
Adrenaline is a hormone that courses through the bodies of ragers when raging.
It does?
That's why it's fun to be mad all the time.
Oh, well, no, I mean, who says?
The literature.
Anyway, we were rethinking our roles as humanities.
A part-time gig is what we're thinking.
Part-time kindly ones.
Do you think you can chill out enough and retool?
You know, maybe I'll give up smoking and sign up for a couple yoga classes while I'm at it.
Now you're just being silly.
Think it over, T.
We'll be in the green room brainstorming.
Just as the confection starts to thicken, my sister's back off with the full-time revenge racket. You know what? I ain't giving up, though. I got an ace up my sleeve. I'm going undercover. You won't call it revenge anymore, but I'll reside in your hearts as that urge to stomp out injustice. Get it? Now get busy.
I was supposed to be here for jury duty, but I'm late. Did you or did you not decapitate your husband? Ew. Hey, I'm really glad I missed that trial. But I do love words. I prefer divine words, words of poetry. How they calm and assuage. How comforting their messages when whispered into a rapt ear. Cupped hands always bear a gift into the fitful present. Through the ear, words press deeply into the eye. The brain, its fan snapped open like a Japanese fan to the figure of paradigms, changing rhymes and origami lines. Words imprint the bones of mind with puzzles and games, rare portents and paradoxes, riddles and boxes. How I have eaten lush words. How I've plied my velvet imagination with esoteric secrets. When I faint at the grandeur, the splendor, the power of ecstatic spells. When I weep at the love of a language and pronounce the gift of language my savior. I prefer words that praise and erase the onslaught of crisis. Keep the knife from gnawing my wits, my wrists. Distract me with delicate elegance, the evidence of godliness in the midst of godlessness, the encounter of every vulgar, stingy, grandiose speech or gesture act, every poisoned picture.
and speak a path out of polished despair and contorted, insane blame. Or shall I grow faint and weak to prove my point? On the temple grounds, I kneel and plant kisses.